Today, we're going to dive into an in-depth analysis of the word Hamas, which appears more than 40 times in the Bible. The complexity of this term is not always clear, mainly due to the different translations and interpretations over time. However, we will explore how this word, so present today, has deep roots in ancient prophecies and how understanding its original meaning can enrich our understanding of Scripture. Before we continue, I ask you to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Your participation is fundamental to spreading the word about this video and continuing our journey of discovery. The word Hamas has linguistic origins in Biblical Hebrew and goes beyond common understanding. In Hebrew, it is associated with a form of violence, injustice, and extreme aggression, carrying the connotation of violent acts such as theft, oppression, and aggressive behavior. This interpretation goes beyond the most common view of the word, which is often linked only to the Palestinian political military movement. The importance of this linguistic analysis becomes clear when we examine biblical prophecies that mention Hamas, often translated as violence or theft in English. In short, Hamas is not just a name, it is an expression that, in the biblical context, warns us of imminent violence and aggression. The word Hamas is frequently quoted in the scriptures, appearing in more than 40 passages, but because of the English translations, we often don't find the word explicitly in the Bibles available in that language. This omission highlights the importance of exploring the original linguistic nuances and different layers of meaning that can be present in the word Hamas when considering the scriptures in their original language. When the Islamist movement Hamas chose this name in Arabic, the phonetic similarity to the Hebrew word mentioned in biblical prophecies may not be mere coincidence. Hamas is a political military organization that originated in the context of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Founded in December 1987 during the First Intifada, a Palestinian uprising against Israeli occupation. Hamas, as mentioned earlier, emerged as a response to the political and social conditions in the Gaza Strip and the West Bank. Initially established as an arm of the Muslim Brotherhood in Palestine, it was founded in December 1987 during the First Intifada, a Palestinian uprising against Israeli occupation. Hamas founders, Sheikh Ahmed Yassin and Abdulaziz Alanti, intended to create an organization that would unite political, social, and military activities under the principles of Islam. The movement's main objective is to resist the Israeli occupation and seek the creation of an independent Palestinian state. This state would ideally include the Gaza Strip, the West Bank, Jordan, and East Jerusalem. Hamas maintains a significant presence in Middle Eastern politics, playing a crucial role in regional dynamics and peace negotiations between Israel and the Palestinians. Its foundation and evolution are intrinsically linked to the historical and political context of the region. The organization also adopts an Islamic agenda, with the aim of implementing Islamic law in the region. Hamas' historical context is closely linked to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, forming during a period of social and political turmoil when many Palestinians felt oppressed by the Israeli occupation. The movement gained popularity by getting involved in social activities, such as setting up schools and health services. It also has a military wing, the Al-Qassam Brigades. Over the years, Hamas has been involved in armed conflicts with Israel, generating controversy with some countries and organizations considering it a terrorist entity, while others defend its role as a legitimate resistance to the occupation. Hamas remains relevant in the geopolitics of the Middle East, playing a crucial role in regional dynamics and peace negotiations between Israel and the Palestinians. Some people seek to relate Hamas to biblical prophecies in order to understand whether current events in the region can be seen as the fulfillment of ancient prophecies. However, this approach is highly interpretative and can vary significantly between different theological and political perspectives. Some people see convincing correlations, while others consider these interpretations to be speculative and subjective. It is essential to approach this analysis with sensitivity, avoiding oversimplification and recognizing the complexity of the conflict in the Middle East. The intersection of politics, religion, and biblical interpretation is a delicate field, and conclusions can vary depending on the perspectives through which this phenomenon is observed. However, there is no denying the potential of the biblical scriptures, which contain guidance and prophecies designed to prepare people for the future. There are records of 735 predictions about the future in the scriptures, of which 596 have already been literally fulfilled, according to the scriptures. This highlights the authenticity and reliability of the content contained in the Bible. With this knowledge in mind, today we focus on several biblical prophecies in which the word Hamas is frequently mentioned. However, the English translation, while essentially correct, may not fully encompass the breadth of meanings contained in the original Hebrew word. These prophecies predict a period of violence and anguish and are found in several books of the Bible, such as Jeremiah, Ezekiel, and Isaiah. Although these texts refer to specific historical contexts, some interpret them in the light of contemporary conflicts, including those involving the Hamas group. In the book of Jeremiah, for example, in chapter 37, it is mentioned, "For that day is so great that there has not been another like it. It is a time of trouble for Jacob, but he will be saved from it." In this passage, the prophet Jeremiah speaks of a period of great distress, referring to Jacob, a symbolic figure who represents the people of Israel. The interpretation of this period of distress may vary, but many consider it a reference to crucial moments in the history of the Israeli people, including possible connections to contemporary events, such as conflicts involving Hamas. In Ezekiel, chapter 7, we find a prophecy of judgment against Jerusalem that says, "Prepare your chains, for the land is full of blood crimes, and the city is full of violence. Therefore I will bring the worst of the Gentiles, who will take possession of their houses. I will cause the arrogance of the mighty to cease. Their sanctuaries will be profaned. Anguish will come, and they will seek peace, but there will be no time to find it. Woe will come upon them, and there will be terrible rumors." These verses describe a scenario of violence, disaster, and a desperate search for peace, relating to the theme of conflicts and afflictions discussed in the context of prophecies and conflicts involving Hamas. The prophecies mentioned can be related to recent conflicts and trends in the Middle East. The periodic attacks between Israel and the Hamas group in the Gaza Strip can be interpreted as a manifestation of the violence predicted in the prophecies. The constant tension and conflicts in the region are cited as examples of a time of distress, as indicated in Jeremiah. The use of missiles by Hamas against Israel, resulting in the deaths of thousands of innocent civilians, can also be associated with Ezekiel's prophecy, which speaks of a land full of bloodshed. The escalation of violence and the continuous search for solutions reflect the elements described in the scriptures. While some people see these events as the fulfillment of prophecy, the connection between current events and biblical prophecy is often subjective, depending on individual beliefs and perspectives. I'd like to know what you think. Do you think all this is just a coincidence, or were these events already predicted in the Bible? Leave your opinion in the comments. In addition to the prophecies that directly address the conflict between Hamas and Israel, the scriptures also contain predictions about other nations and global events. Prophecies relating to conflicts between nations, changes in human nature, and the search for peace between peoples offer a comprehensive view of the global landscape. As we look at current events, it is fascinating to see how these prophecies may be unfolding before our eyes. Unexpected conflicts and evolving geopolitical alliances can be interpreted as fulfillments of biblical prophecies, highlighting the ongoing and timeless relevance of these messages for understanding the world around us. Fortunately, the Bible also offers us positive prophecies, emphasizing an optimistic outlook on the situation. Isaiah's prophecy about the end of violence and the transformation of weapons into instruments of peace is an inspiring vision of a redemptive and peaceful future. This prophecy is found in Isaiah 2:4, where the prophet describes a powerful image of what will happen in the last days. He will judge among the nations and rebuke many peoples. They will turn their swords into plowshares and their spears into sickles. One nation will not lift up the sword against another, nor will they learn war anymore. In this prophetic context, Isaiah portrays a vision of global transformation in which nations will abandon war in search of peace. The symbolism of turning swords into plowshares and spears into sickles is especially striking, representing a drastic change in mentality, moving from destruction to construction, from war to production, and from conflict to collaboration. By relating this prophecy to the general theme of hope for a better future, we realize that Isaiah is conveying the promise that, even in the face of adversity and conflict, there is a vision of reconciliation and harmony. The transformation of weapons into agricultural tools symbolizes the transition from an era of violence to one of prosperity and cooperation. This message of hope resonates beyond the biblical context and can be applied to contemporary challenges, including regional and global conflicts. The prophecy suggests that, in the end, humanity has the potential to overcome violence and build a future where peace prevails.